I hope you guys have your sunscreen ready because we're back in Tiny Atoll. And today, without further ado, I'm gonna say what we are doing, and this is going to turn this blank area into a beautiful, cozy, very overgrown natural habitat for the wonderful and kinda cute little Ocelot. Here it comes, how it is already enjoying its final habitat, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We are, first of all, have to build the habitat. And I do hope that you guys find a lot of inspiration in today's episode, because I think it's one of my really typical Rudy habitats, and it looks super good. It's really super cozy, and also it does not involve too much work, honestly. I mean, well, that's considering how much work I usually put in my things. It is a straightforward build using most of the already set theme I have going on in this series. And if you are new to the series, we are building a little tiny zoo on a tiny atoll using mostly small animals. That is like not tiny animals, but we're trying to go for the smallest of their species in a way. And so obviously the Ocelot came in handy for our kitty cats. Yeah, this is the island. Obviously, realism is, you know, it didn't kind of leave the chat, but it's definitely not super active in chat, if you will. We try to at least focus on making it look somewhat realistic, and we also try to do some cool things like this fence design over here. You can see a bit of a piece elaboration that I did to find out which ones I wanted to use, and so this is the final design I used across the front of the habitat. In case you need inspiration, just click stop on the video, check out which kind of pieces I use. I, as always, try to make my little template, and after I'm happy with the template, I start like copying it over, making sure it just kind of follows that ugly little edge of the path, because we all do hate our curb on the path. At least I do quite hate this little nubsy there. It's really, I don't know. Anyways, you get the idea. Fully zooming forward, we have almost like finished everything in here, and I wanted to do a couple of little fixes here and there to ensure that it just looks very good indeed. But we do also have a little bit of an open space here to the left hand side. I wanted to incorporate a viewing spot for the guest, because this is where the water feature is gonna sit, our next part in the video, and I wanted to have this specifically for the guest to see the animal. The rest of the habitat design is kind of made in a way that the Ocelot has a lot of privacy if it wants to, so it can hide out in a lot of foliage, behind some trees, behind some bushes, or even on some rocks, or behind some rocks, underneath some rocks. There's a lot of possibility for the animal to, you know, hide away if they need to. So as always, we are using the wonderful waterfall pieces here to create ourselves a little stream. I am very proud of this. I would call this the highlight of today's video. There are many reasons to why that is. Let me just start with the beginning. I always find water features in habitats, they draw a natural kind of attention to them, you know? I don't know what it is, but we all love them water features, and in this game, water looks absolutely fantastic. I do have a little bit of an issue with some of the VFX effects here and there, but I certainly love these waterfall features. I'm not sure when they were added. I believe they were added with the tropical pack or the South American pack, or at least the one where the Jaguar was in. I honestly cannot remember. But what you can really do nicely is using a little trick, and that is using the random rotation on rocks and on 4 rocks, because 4 rocks will be easier to just blend in because they are flexi-color. And then what you want to do, as you can see over here, is hide away the sides of these waterfalls. And that is very important, because that way it just receives that natural yet still pre-built man-made structure, because these 4 rocks always come with the benefit of it not looking 100% natural unless you are in a tropical region, because then they look like tropical rocks. So that just kind of works super well in here, but it also works super well for the tropical area we're in. So what you can see, I also dropped in a couple of rocks in the midst of it to just create some like natural blocks, if you will. And you will see now that I'm using some of the VFX to break with the kind of very clear straight mood. First of all, we need to kind of add the water source where it all kind of comes from, not source, like source, you know, where the water is coming from. And then I'm using some of the little splashy effects here and there to make the overall habitat just feel super natural, and just like get this water splashes in. You know, there is a considerable amount of like technology involved to make these things run and flow, because obviously you would need to have some pipe work going underneath that just pumps the water constantly back. I assume we have a lot of sun going on in this region, so that is all solar powered, of course. But yeah, keep that in mind. These little lakes down below there with this amount of water flowing down obviously have to be completely man-made and forced into that perspective, or into this position, not perspective, because, you know, it needs to have like a crazy drainage to make sure that the water is always actively pumped back up on here to create that circle. Anyways, once that was done, I was going in with some foliage to put it in and make sure some stuff over here looks super overgrown, as in this region, obviously tropical region, these things would grow like crazy. You wouldn't really maintain this habitat too much anyways, because, you know, the Ocelot can deal rather nicely with a lot of foliage, and, you know, this is tropical region. Why would you change too much? But again, I'm using also a lot of the random rotation over here as well, even with some plants that like technically need to be in a certain position, but if you merge them together nicely, you can also always create like other looks, as if, you know, as if they were growing in certain angles because of rock being in the way or so. And if you're wondering, I keep saying that I do have the improved foliage, or like advanced foliage mod that replaces a couple of foliage pieces with new models that I find absolutely amazing. And for whatever and whoever made this, if you're listening, can you please do the same for Planet Coaster 2 as well? I wouldn't mind if someone is doing that for Planet Coaster 2 as well. Just saying. I mean, my favorite piece would be if Frontier's doing it, but if not, is there someone out there who likes to do foliage, I guess? Anyhow, back to topic. We put a couple of trees and stuff in here. As I said, I am super happy with how that turned out. As you know, you can also change the color of the water, which I did midway through the video. I think it wasn't on camera. In general, for this video today, I did cut out quite a lot of boring stuff, but I kept this little break in here to talk about specifically this. Sometimes I am poking myself to check out some more reference images from zoos and stuff. I highly recommend going to Zoo Chat or Pinterest and type in the type of animal you're building for, and then check out some real zoo examples or real habitat examples. And I was looking for how they do the shorelines of these water features, and I saw a lot of these kind of rocks involved there, and so I decided to kind of try to mimic this as well. And you can see over here on the left hand side, this is a pretty common trick that I used on raised, like, grassy areas. If you have like a step in the habitat, a height step, so to say, what they usually do with these boulders is like they keep they keep them almost like a retaining wall to make like overgrowing stop a little bit on this spot, but also to ensure the little gap, or like the height gap, is maintained by these boulders. And it always looks really cool, so you can use that pretty much everywhere in your habitats, and you just need to change the type of boulders you're using depending on the area. Now, what I wanted to do as well is I wanted to create some more viewing opportunities, not only for the Ocelot habitat, but also for what is coming soon in some other habitats and so on, and just to give the people like a nice view over the beach area over here, over that little area. And so I was creating that custom little kind of viewing platform over here. Obviously, as you know, it's not going to be functioning because people will not be able to go up here. I could have tried to do my best with the advanced path tool mod, but I do not have it installed anymore because it caused too many issues. Like, I don't like to use mods that other people have to have. Most of the mods I'm using are like productivity tools, like free build and stuff, that don't really change how you guys would open this. And even with the advanced foliage mod, you technically wouldn't see all the pieces I use, but most of them, it would just look a little bit different because these are not the replaced models, but just the in-game models. But as they still exist, you wouldn't see an empty spot there. It's just for a couple of pieces that were added to the game. But other than that, in most games, active games, and this game is not actively supported anymore, I would consider myself not using these mods that change the game in that way. But like productivity mods like this, they're like free build and so on, advanced move tools, they are totally fine because they don't change what other people could see and like to enjoy. Anyways, I'm rather happy with this little tower over here. It's like a little beachy tower, you know, nothing particularly crazy. Getting in with like a custom little walkway to ensure the immersion is real and people technically could climb up there. I think every now and then it's just totally fine to not really always have everything functioning, you know, just our imagination can do a lot more heavy lifting, like it could in the past, which is why we have so many great memories. And great memories could be made for this Ocelot as well, because that is its finished new habitat. Very nice, overgrown, and well, you will be able to check it out in real time now, because I'm gonna hand you over now to my real-time me, who has actually recorded this before me now, so just enjoy. Okay, this is the final version of the wonderful Ocelot habitat here in our tiny atoll. And you can see this is one of the best waterfalls I think I've built in the game. It looks so cool, so clean, so nicely meandering down here with all these different little elements in it. I think it's really turned out beautifully. And then we've got that little bit of water down here for them to, you know, just have as a target to go to. And then you can see the basic layout of all the logs and so on. Mainly is on purpose to ensure that the Ocelot will eventually walk the way it should. So, you know, when it comes in, you can see that it will go all the way through here, and then it just can go all the way to the end of this zone. But in order to, you know, showcase, we have to go into a version where the Ocelot is actually in the habitat, because I need to do this a little bit of a different way to ensure you don't see what's gonna be in next episode. If you have tuned into my live stream, you potentially do know, but in this version over here, there is no Ocelot yet in. I'll be there in a second, don't you worry. I will keep the camera though to an angle that you don't see what's going on, else, you know, you should have a reason to click to the next video, I guess that's the case. But also, I'm so proud of things like that, you know. Look at how this kind of, you know, these kind of flowers and stuff grows down here, that little area. And if we were to change the sun, maybe we can, oh, look at that. You can see how that just affects the whole area. It looks even cooler. Like, look at that. Oh man, it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful how the Ocelot will enjoy its wonderful habitat with a lot of details here to the ground, little grass is peeking through, all is very green, and just in general, this looks really cool. I'm not even sure, this could become one of my favorite spots here to take a screenshot of. I don't know, but it's gonna be very cool. Same goes for the waterfall. But I think you want to see the animal in action, so let's get there. Okay, so here it comes. As you can see, now the Ocelot is walking in the habitat, and oh boy, isn't that a beautiful cat. God, the version they have done in this game is just like, I absolutely adore that. And I think you can also, like, if we were to take like a shot over here, I mean, just look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at this. This is just like really, I mean, come on, that looks almost picture perfect here. That's just like almost photorealistic. I'm a huge fan of that. It just really transports the exact idea I had. So when I first envisioned this habitat, like really with the idea it being, let me just stop it. I like when it has this paw. Yeah, there you go. I like when that paw is just about to hit the thing. It just looks so realistic now, as it almost touches every inch of the little beam here perfectly. That is just my favorite moment to look at these animals, because that is just like looking so realistic. I do hope that Planet Zoo 2 will have this naturally, just like a lot more accurate, because that just looks, I mean, the models of the animals, they look just perfect anyway, so there's not really too much to complain about. I mean, you know, obviously there's always room for improvement, but that specifically, I guess, looks fantastic. And just like the animal in this habitat, just it's so good. It is so freaking good. Anyways, let's just keep it walking, or make it walk for a little more, because if we go over here, it's just gonna come over to the area where the water is, and that's also pretty decent as well. I also put that lock in here so that they have different opportunities, but they always refuse to use that. They always go the same way, and potentially that is a little bit of the flaw of my design over here. There's the other one, by the way. We've got both of them over here. So if we do quickly showcase the traversal area, as you can see, I used some of the tricks that were created over the years. Obviously, I made sure that some of the areas, because of all the rocks, are not traversable for them, and this makes them walk over these logs quite a lot more than if you would just keep that all available for them. They will always be on the ground, but this way you make them climb all the time, and they can go all the way here to the very back of the habitat. Which I think is a good thing to have, you know. That is definitely how you should do this. And yeah, just in general, I think it's looking fine. My issue is just, as always, that they always do the exact same repetitive pattern. As you can see, this thing over here will now do the, well, you know, including a Michael Jackson moonwalk kind of thing. Yeah, they both... Oh, wait, hold on. This one is gonna make like this little... Oh, I love that. Oh, I love them being in here. Oh my god, can we make use of that? Like, as for the sun position? Oh, sorry, I'm getting carried away by the beauty of these animals. I think I can't really get to a... maybe with some backlight over here. Oh, that looks absolutely stellar as well. Like, you can also... Oh, this is also so beautiful. Like, if you go and have a look at... Oops, just gone. It was just gone. That looks so good. It's nothing for a thumbnail, but it just looks so gorgeous with these animals in here. So I didn't want to have that speed up. So there you go. Now the one just jumps down, and we could go back to, what was that, 12:30-ish? Well, like my favorite sun position is, I don't know. Is the other one going for the water? Because that's also kind of cool when they're here in the back. This also looks really cool when they're here. Let's have a little speed up if it comes over to visit us. Is it somewhere there in the... Oh, there you go. The other one is also somewhere over here. I think they don't mind now. They don't want to. They just go all the way back now. Whatever. You get the idea of the Hbaitat. I'm very proud of it. I think it's looking really cool, and that kind of almost like long corridor really suits the idea very well. And also, if we zoom out, this is the current state of the map. I found a map which is not giving away too much of what's coming next, but we're almost done with that main island, which is going to be fun to see where we branch out next. People in the chat had some really cool ideas what to do, where to go, and I'm really kind of, you know, thinking about how we do this. But as I said earlier, this is going to be like a bridge crossing over here. There's going to be a bridge crossing over here. There's a bridge crossing over here. Oh, you can't even see my mouse, by the way. So I'm going to do it this way because I deactivated the cursor to have some nicer looks at the animals. But yeah, as you can tell, this is the area where we have a bridge passing over. Then there's going to be the bridge passing over. And on that little lip over here, we're going to pass over with the lovely bridge. And this first island over here is going to see maybe kind of a shared habitat, maybe with a kiwi and some other animals. And then down here, I'm not too certain what we do, but in one of these areas, I want to do like a little hideout or like a, I don't know, like a little restaurant of some sort, so that there's also a reason for the guests to go to. Maybe on this biggest here makes the most sense. Maybe like a raised, kind of more modern-ish, tropical modern mixed vibey house, you know, kind of that could be a thing that looks cool. Also to, you know, have some cool looks from over here if you just sit here and have that thing. Yeah, most likely it's going to be here too, also for the vista. And then you can see that there is this like bigger restaurant slash hotel vibe going on here with some other animals around. I think this is going to give the whole idea how the whole thing looks. And yeah, it's just like I'm very happy with the project and can't wait to see where this is going. But yeah, we're almost done with the first island, and hopefully from over here 2 episodes per island should do the trick. And the last island is going to be the Komodo area, which you got some observation points here from a boat ride, but that's about it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did enjoy, please do me a favor and give this video a like or a hype or a subscription to the channel if you haven't already. And also make sure, if you have some spare time, to watch another video on my channel, because certainly that is the best thing to signalize the algorithm that you like my stuff. And there's so much to learn on the channel. I've got a lot of tutorials for you, so much inspiration. Check out my old series of building Yosemite Valley Park or whatnot. There's so much inspiration on the channel, so enjoy that. I talk to you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.